You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Bill Murphy is with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, celebrating today. Wait a second. How can we have a celebration day without food? National Best Friends Day. Okay, I like that one. That one worked. I watched this one. How do they always put this in? National Best Friends Day. They do it in the beach, in the sand. So it gets washed away in a heartbeat. I don't understand that one, but I see that all the time. Name Your Poison Day, Upsy Daisy Day. No food. I don't know. I'm going to go there anyway. I don't care. So I'm Jewish. I've told you that many, many times. Jewish religion, we start and end every holiday the exact same way. We start with Baruch, means blessed, and we end with food. Right? Everyone, they always start the same, blessed and food. So we don't have any food today. I just don't know how to handle it. Maybe we'll go back to yesterday when it was chocolate ice cream day. Maybe. We'll see. Let's move along. Let's see what the markets are doing. Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 24 points. S&P 500 is down 4.75. NASDAQ moving up a little bit, not much, 29.75. The only thing that's going up a lot, as always, oil. $121 a barrel. $121 a barrel. Let's take a look. Okay, $4.95 a gallon is the average in the United States. $4.95 and a half a gallon. Our tremendous underwriter, Lori, she's paying $4.49 a gallon. Jody, $5.18. Josh, you're at $5.56. And the winner is, I don't know if you call this a win, $6.39 a gallon of gasoline right here in the formerly Golden State. $6.39. Hawaii is almost $1 cheaper than we are. Who would ever thought that Hawaii would be $1 cheap? Well, taxes and fees, 25% of the price of what we're paying at the pump. And Newsom, he wants to give guys with Teslas $400 as opposed to you and I who are paying all this gas tax, give us some money. Of course, I guess we don't contribute as much to his campaign fund. That would be the only thing I can think of. Unbelievable. Hey, we're not going any cheaper, though. Look at this, $121 a barrel. And I don't know if I shared this here or in one of our private courses. Want to figure out the national average of a gallon of gasoline? Here's the formula. It's not that hard. Even I can remember it. Take the cost of a barrel of oil. So it's $121.60 right now. Multiply that times 1.5. That's the cost of refining. Divide by 42 gallons per barrel. That's what they yield. Add about 80 cents for profit and federal other fees and whatnot. And that tells you what the national average is. So at 121, we're going to get even worse than we are right now. I'm not sure if we're going to get to the $10 point before the end of summer, but I wouldn't be surprised to see us at close to $10. We're already in certain parts of California are already at 9. So it's not going to be pleasant. And I'm not going to feel sorry for anybody. And I'll tell you exactly why I have no sorrowful feelings. Look what happened just yesterday, right? So we know that the biggest cause of our gasoline problems is Sacramento. And Newsom won by an overwhelming amount again. So people are saying, you know something, we don't mind this. We're going to vote for the same guy that's been doing this to us. He's been sticking us for how many years now? And we're gonna put him back where he was. So if you have a feeling that you dislike the price you're paying for gasoline and everything else, well, just look at who you voted for just again yesterday. So you can't say that, well, we didn't know what was happening because the gas prices have been going up since the day President Biden was elected, not when he was inaugurated. The market knew the day that he was announced as the winner of the election. You can take a look back. That's when gas prices started to spike. And take a look. There's a report that just came out. I don't have a copy of it yet, but I will. That shows how many refineries have been built or not built. Well, we're going the wrong direction. What does our energy secretary say? Well, build a wind turbine or build a windmill. Well, am I going to put that in the back of my house? Well, I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? How long is that going to take? And oh, yeah, we need to have gasoline and fossil fuel to get that thing running. So what good is it going to do long term? You got to wonder about the village people. I shouldn't say the village people. It's called the president's cabinet, right? That's just craziness. They haven't got, tell me which one of them knows what the heck they're doing. Not one. I mean, they put Javier Becerra, right? He's in charge of COVID. What does he know about COVID? He didn't even know anything about the law. I don't know how he got his bar exam or bar license, but he's in charge. Or Pete Buttigieg or whatever, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Now, I don't think we have a city in California that's as small as South Bend. Maybe out in the Tuleville somewhere. We don't even have a city as small as that. And he's out there giving away $600 billion. $600 billion he has to give away of your money and mine. What kind of vetting is he doing for that? Do you have any idea how he's choosing? Well, maybe I'm not going to say that one. That one will really get me in trouble. But the bottom line is we've got a whole bunch of inept people that are running the country. And you wonder why we are where we are, but we don't care because we're going to continue voting for the same people over and over again. And I get it when you're talking about Congress and you're talking about the Senate. So here's the issue when you talk about Congress. Every Congress person is horrible except for the 2 that you vote for or 3 that you vote for. And how do I know that? Well, it's pretty simple because you keep voting for the same people. How often do you see incumbents lose? Right? I mean, Dianne Feinstein, she was in Congress since the Civil War, I think. I'm not sure, but she's been there forever. Is she doing the things you want her to do? I just throw that out there for you. Think about those things. It's got to be, everybody's got to be all hands on deck for this whole mess to get cleaned up. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, personal safety. We're going to talk to Bill Murphy about personal safety. Why the well, let's look at this other one. What are the best options for first-time home buyers? And we've got the On the Town segment brought to you by Visit Anaheim. On the Town, it's Wednesday. We've got On the Town brought to you by Visit Anaheim, so we're going to talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Hey, if you want to comment on some of the things we're talking about, all you have to do is go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, StreamYard.com/Facebook. And I did see that somebody puts in there, you need a share button. That's because you're watching us in a private group. So if you'll go to Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, you'll see the broadcast right there as well. And you should be able to share that there. So we really appreciate anybody that wants to share the broadcasts for us that helps us get to more and more folks. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. And they just came out with that Seller's Payment Assistance Program. Yeah, the seller helps make the buyer's payment. It's a great program. If you want to check it out, let us know. S&P 500 now down 8.46. 10-year Treasury is up 4 basis points, over 3% now. The mortgage-backed securities down 6 basis points. And always at this time, I tell you, OBMMI provides the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. The 30-year loans yesterday locked at 5.502. Jumbos, 4.995. FHA loans, 5.36. The best loan on the market. It is for those that deserve it the most. That, in my opinion, that's the VA loan. Our veterans, we thank you all the time. We thank you every day. I couldn't say half the things I say if I wasn't in America, and thanks to the veterans, we're able to say that. The VA loan, 5.065. USDA, 5.273. Why is all of that happening? What are the stories that are driving our markets just today? Well, let's take a look at it. We got the Mortgage Bankers Association released their mortgage application data for the week ending June 3rd, showing that overall application volume decreased by 6.5%. Applications to purchase a home were down 7.1 for the week, down 21 year over year. Refinances fell 5.6 from the previous week and were 75% lower from a year ago. Don't forget, that doesn't include the debt consolidation loans that are still. Now is the time to get that taken care of before the markets turn, and we're going to see lower interest rates probably earlier next year. Zillow and Pulsenomics home price expectation survey, something that we take we really believe in a lot because it surveys 100 to 150 economists in the U.S. showed interesting forecasts on housing. Of the 114 economists surveyed this time, participants expect on average 4.8% appreciation per year on real estate over the next 5 years, cumulatively 26%. Risk outlook, 14% risk to upside, 29% balanced, 56% risk to downside. On housing currently being in a bubble, 65% said no, 35% said yes. Soft landing, yeah, right. The 71% said no, 29% said yes. We're heading to a recession. There's no such thing as a soft landing on the way. On peak inflation at 8.5%, 59% said no, meaning we got more inflation on the horizon. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So I thought it'd be a great time for us to chat because there's a lot of craziness in the world right now. Yes, I know some of you are saying that would be me, but there's a lot of craziness out there, and I'm really appreciative and thankful Bill Murphy's spending some time with us. I know you got a lot of things going on, Bill, and I really appreciate you coming in to educate us a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your background.
I've been a cop my entire life. So what happened, since I was 19 years old, I graduated the police academy, and I worked for Downey and Huntington Beach Police Department. And then I retired on my 50th birthday and went to work for LA County Sheriff's part-time. So I'm a deputy now and just working part-time.
Nice. And so you're out there in the front lines watching all this craziness that's going on.
Well, I'm not necessarily in the front lines anymore because I'm an old guy. But what happens is, I get to see everything. I get to see the trends. I get to see what's happening. And the nice part about it is I get to carry a gun.
So you're safe.
Relatively. I've used my pepper spray more times, but it's nice to know you have something to back that up.
That's an interesting comment that you make, because so many of us are our only experience with guns is what we see on TV. And they make it look like every police officer is using their weapons, every day.
Well, it's kind of like Yellowstone. I think each guy has killed 97 people so far in this series, and that's not real life. And so what happens is officers do use their firearms. I've used mine several times. And what happens is it's the bad guy gets to make all the choices. He gets to go out, get stoned. He gets to go out there, choose the time he wants to kill a policeman. He gets to choose everything. The cop gets to choose nothing, but has to react with life-saving techniques very, very quickly before he's injured. And so training is what it comes down to, and being ready, being prepared. And that's one of the most important things we can do.
My wife and I were out at breakfast this past weekend, and I saw, sitting right next to us was a couple of Orange County sheriff deputies. And the young lady that was there, I don't know, she was small with all her gear on. So without the gear, she must have been, 110 pounds sopping wet, doesn't matter. But I mean, she's carrying so much gear around on her belt. I don't know how you could even move.
Well, my basic loadout was about 48 pounds.
48 pounds.
That's by the time I put my boots on, actually wore underwear, and had my gun belt, my wool uniform on, my bulletproof vest, my bullets, my handcuffs, and all that kind of stuff. Came out to be about 48 pounds. When I was on SWAT, it worked out to be about 80 pounds.
80 pounds?
Yes.
And you're supposed to move and run and be agile and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's why you get paid a little extra to work out, because sometimes you got to chase somebody that's a third your age or half your age at least, and you're chasing them with all this gear. So that's why we like the radios to really work, because I can go ahead and say which way we're going and how fast we're going, whether we're in a car or on foot. And the guys in blue and green will come to your assistance.
That's just mind-boggling, because I mean, you're a fit man, and I'm looking at this young lady, and I'm sure she's 10 times more fit than I am. But still, if she was wearing just the minimum that you're saying, 48 pounds of gear, and it doesn't surprise me, because I mean, just on the one side, she looked like she had a gun, a baton, 3 or 4 other thingies that I have no idea what they are. And then in a split second, she's supposed to know exactly which item is where.
Yes, that's why you got to go through training. As cops, we have minimum training that has to be performed every year. And the state monitors us all the time to make sure we're going to that training. But, ladies have it tougher because they get pregnant, they're off work, they're this, that. And then what happens is they come back and they're supposed to be able to perform like a 21-year-old kid. And that was always the hardest part, being 40 something and doing physical agility tests. And what happens is every year it got harder to pass those.
So that's an interesting point. So you have to pass a physical agility test.
Well, for some details and some agencies, like when I was at Huntington Beach, is that they gave an incentive of extra time off of work for passing it. When I was on SWAT had to be passed every 3 months, and you had to take your physical agilities. Plus, I was on a maritime unit, so I had to pass my swim tests and all that.
You've been doing a triathlon out there.
Not well, but yes, doing it.
So because I was curious about that, because there used to be a police officer who's since passed in the Anaheim Hills area. He was a very, very well-known gentleman, and he was about my size, and he was on a motorcycle. Yeah. And
well,
he used to. I think everybody knew him. You probably knew him in a different way, because everybody in Anaheim Hills knew him because he'd given every one of us tickets.
Well, my wife Cheryl was an Anaheim cop.
Okay.
And so she finished out her career last 20 plus years at Anaheim. So we would see this guy, fairly regular and all that kind of stuff. So.
But he did, the one thing everyone knew is down the streets that he patrolled on a regular basis. I was lucky enough. Thank goodness I never got stopped, but you used cruise control, right? Because you knew he was going to be there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was not doing any agility tests.
I saw the Anaheim motor just sitting right off the freeway overpass this morning, watching everybody getting off the freeway, seeing if they're rolling the red light. So they work their stuff hard. Anaheim's got a pretty big motor unit.
And something, we're appreciative of all of the police. I mean, I may be in a minority nowadays, but I still am out there saying, something, thank you to the men and women who serve. And I'm going to throw this out there just because I can, and I do all the time. Hey, if you're in a restaurant, if you're in a Starbucks, any of these other places, say thank you. And if you have the means, go and pick up the tab for them. You don't even have to tell them who's doing it. You just ask the restaurant manager or owner, hey, something, I want to just say thank you. Pick up their tab. I think it's just a small gesture for all of the things these men and women are out there doing for us every day. You watch, especially if in a lot of areas here. I mean, I know we're broadcasting in Los Angeles, and some of the LA areas can get pretty tough. We're still pretty fortunate in a lot of the areas that we're in. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, training. I wonder if I could be trained, well, not agility, but if I could be trained like a police officer is. We're going to talk to Bill Murphy about that. What are the best options for today's first-time home buyers? And On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Find out what your property value is, fourth button in the middle. If you want to know about any property in the United States that's for sale or you're in the market, that would be the first button. It gives you every area. About 97% of America is covered there. What are the best options for today's first-time home buyers if you're looking to buy your first home? You're likely balancing several factors because both mortgage rates and home prices have risen this year. It costs more to buy a home than it did ever, and even more than just a couple months ago. But that doesn't mean you have to put your plans on hold. If you partner with a trusted real estate advisor and hone your strategy, you can navigate today's market and find the home you're looking for. Here are 2 tips to help you get started. Work with a professional to prioritize your wish list. If you're having trouble finding a home in your budget that checks all the boxes, it may be worth taking another look at your lists of what you want and what you really need. According to the latest first-time homebuyer Metro Affordability Report from NerdWallet, your wish list can have as much impact on your search as your finances. Quote, your budget isn't all that you need to be concerned about. Your wish list and desired location may carry just as much weight, unquote. It's all about prioritization. If you're serious about purchasing your first home soon, be flexible in what you're looking for to open up your pool of options. Partner with a local real estate professional to better understand what's available in today's market and prioritize your wish list. Remember, making a concession now doesn't mean you'll never have everything on your list. After you've moved in, you can always add certain features to make it your home. Increase your search radius to consider more locations. Some areas may have more homes within your target price range than others, but it may require you to be flexible on your location. For example, if you're a remote worker, you may be able to expand your search. As Fannie Mae explains, continued remote work flexibility is likely giving many the ability to live further away in more affordable areas, unquote. The decision to search in places with the lower cost of living could help you find a home that fits your budget and checks the most boxes off your list. And yes, we did just come up with a couple of programs that'll help roll back interest rates. If you want information on the interest rate rollback programs, send us a note, rj@ronsiegelradio.com, rj@ronsiegelradio.com. Interest rate rollback programs help you with more buying power and a lower monthly mortgage payment. If you're serious about purchasing your first home this year, revisiting your wish list and desired location can help. And if you know anybody, friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, give them our number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Continuing our conversation, Bill Murphy is with us. Police officer, a deputy, and patriot.
Yep.
And I want to maybe I can put you on the spot just a little. So Huntington Beach for lots and lots of years. I've done a lot of work with Anaheim Hills on their July 4th event for the last 7 or 8 years.
Nobody has a 4th of July like Huntington Beach.
Absolutely.
The parades and everything. I think it's the oldest celebration west of the Mississippi River. And it's just a great old time. Everybody comes down. They're friendly. They're nice. And the out-of-towners are crazy.
So it's just the out-of-towners that are crazy.
Well, mostly.
Okay. So any single story or two that stands out that we can share on radio?
Your show isn't long enough for the years that I worked there. One of the funnest years was when we arrested 600 people in 10 hours. And a lot of them were for drinking in their yards because it had gotten completely out of control down there, where people were getting their doors kicked in and they were grabbing furniture out of houses, taking it out in the street and starting bonfires.
Wow.
How long was it before somebody got shot kicking in somebody's door? And so we had to really go down there and become aggressive and assertive. And, the funniest part was that you had to have a fence to drink in your yard. So they had this emergency ordinance that you couldn't drink in your front yard unless it was fenced in and all that kind of stuff. So we'd arrest everybody. They'd go down to Home Depot. They'd get the orange crate fencing. They would put that up around their yard. Well, a fence has to have a gate. And so then they'd all go to jail again.
It's funny stories like that. You just laugh at them. But the bottom line was just trying to make sure everyone was safe.
We had to stop that out of town crime, and we were successful in doing it because we had some great bosses back there. Some of the lieutenants, and they were great. And they would go out there and they'd visit all the people that were having parties that were legit. And they would say, hey, would you write our guys a commendation? Because they're going to get some negative ones. Let's put some positive ones in there. And he used to get those and bring them around and do all that kind of stuff like that. And
not enough people think about that. The idea, I mean, in many industries, people are looking for 5-star reviews. I mean, every restaurant wants a 5-star review. Every lender, every realtor, every business of every sort. You don't think about that with law enforcement.
Well, we do. We have a 5-star rating. That's called going home at the end of your shift. And so surviving your shift with the least amount of injury that you have to absorb is a 5-star day. And so we always feel terrible for the cops that don't make it, and we feel terrible for the cops that families, that don't make it. So it does happen. And
something that you bring a sense of reality, right? You can say all you want about police officers. I go to work every morning, and there's not a whole lot of question. I'm going home at the end of the day, right? I mean, there's lunatics on the freeway and whatnot, but police officers are out there. They're running to the challenge.
Yeah, and I hope we can bring that back, that mindset, because a lot of the cops have been hurt. They've been hurt financially. They've been fired from their jobs and all this kind of stuff, falsely complained about, and that makes them hesitant to lunge forward into the sound of danger. And that everybody else runs away from gunfire, cops run to gunfire. And so as long as we can keep the cops motivated and understanding that the public does support us. And that's kind of on some of us older guys to make sure that the young guys understand it's not us against the good guys. It's us against the bad guys. But we got to get the good guys a little bit more involved during this period and make sure that they support the cops.
And that's a key comment right there is I think there is an overwhelming majority of people that do support police officers. It's just that the minority is they're the loudest.
The majority is always silent because they go about their lives, and our lives are generally good and all this kind of stuff. But you saw that DA up in San Francisco get tossed out, and that was done by the silent majority. They said, we've had enough of this. This is another failed thing. And what happens is you're seeing this all about. The Biden administration is taking a pounding, and they deserve the pounding for what they've done to the country, and that we have to right the course of the ship.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask you some things because I shared with you many years ago and before we went on today, I was never a fan of, for me, carrying a weapon. Wasn't something that I thought was right for me. Several years back, I changed my mind and thought that it was, but I felt that, and that doesn't mean it's right or wrong, that I feel it's right or wrong for anybody. I think everybody should have their own option. But I think that there should be some respect for a weapon, and there should be those who do choose to should get trained.
I agree entirely. The first weapon that we should always look to is our brain. because our brain is what tells us to avoid these dangerous situations. And then what happens is something that'll help us, like a chemical irritant, pepper spray, is a fantastic tool. The firearm is kind of either the very first thing you use or it's the last thing. That the bad guy's attack is so sudden and violent, you have no options but to immediately go to deadly force. Or is that I've exhausted everything that was a resource to me. I have no chance to stop this guy without a firearm and the use of potentially deadly force right into there. And we bluff at cards. We don't bluff at guns. If you want to play, that you're going to kill someone, then what happens if they have a firearm? They shouldn't bluff. They should bring the firearm out, use it effectively. But, the CCWs, we do a 16-hour course, which is the best course in the state. It's the maximum the state allows. A lot of the sheriff's departments have come and reviewed our course, and they're very impressed with it. But people are lazy. The most important thing that they're going to do is learn how to shoot and learn the laws. And they go to an 8-hour class where they really don't learn anything. And then what happens is they think they're going to be okay. And then when we get them 2 years later for a recert, we found guys that never fired their gun in their training. Is that the trainers were saying, "Oh, COVID, we can't shoot," and that's a bunch of crap. If it ain't raining, it ain't training.
Yeah, so when you think about it, I mean, so you can carry the gun because you got the CCW, but because of COVID, I mean, you're gonna say that I pulled it out because of COVID, but I don't know how to use it. I remember I pointed it the wrong way.
They scare the heck out of us because the greatest fear we have is someone that's not committed to carrying a gun and prepared to defend the gun. It has it with them. They get it taken away, and then it's used on a policeman or an innocent party that's out there. So, a lot of times women have their guns in their purses because it's convenient. They're out at an outside lunch. Somebody comes in and steals their purses at knife point. Then they open up the purses, go through them, find a gun. Then the next robbery 2 blocks further down is done with a firearm.
Wow, and they didn't go through a background check. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That'll probably get somebody upset with me. But the concept though is, shouldn't they have the rule? I mean, that seems like, to me, just seems like one of the easy rules to change. I mean, because I'm not in favor of taking people's rights away, but the concept of, if you're going to get a concealed carry permit, for me to do a loan for somebody, I have to have so many hours of training,
right?
Proper training. I have to understand the laws. For a realtor, they have to go through so many hours of training. For a lawyer, for a CPA, they have to go through a comprehensive training courses. This is, and if I make a mistake, okay, maybe a loan doesn't go through the right way. You're talking about serious issues if somebody doesn't use the gun the right way.
Well, there's a lot of people. We teach regular courses where it's general handgun, where we teach people the skills over a 16-hour period. We have advanced handgun classes, shotgun classes, carbine classes. But the CCW class is the one that we really emphasize. And I'm a little bit of a jerk when I teach a CCW, because you're coming to get a license to use deadly force against someone. So I want you to understand less lethal. I want you to understand tactics. I want you to understand scenarios and try to avoid using the firearm if you have the option. But if you don't have the option, it's your last resort, then what happens is your goal would be you save your life and a member of your family's life by using your firearm. And that's the criteria that we use at work, is that this is my last choice thing. But if all of a sudden the guy's charging me with a knife, I've got to use the deadly force. And so I've had these scenarios at work, and we'll go through every single tool we have out there, including the canines and all that, before we have to go to gun. But the guy charges with the knife and we have to put them down. And, I've had that captured on video where you apply deadly force. So you can't be a ruffian either. This has to be done with proper technique, handled effectively, and no one else get hurt as a result of what you do, because there's innocent bystanders.
Love that concept. And nobody really talks about that part of it, how the police are trained to try and eliminate or avoid people getting hurt as much as possible. I've Well, I want to come back. I want to ask you, Bill, because I'd heard somewhere that many police officers go their entire career and never discharge their firearm other than in training. I want to talk to you about that when we come back. And I want to talk to you about training courses that you offer, all that and more. And we got, hey, what about on the town romance? Taking the family out to dinner and a major event. On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim, all that and more. Reach me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. Every week at this time, we bring you On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. We're going to give you a major event of the week, a romantic event of the week, and a family event of the week. This week, major event, Taste of Japan. Taste of Japan is returning to the Anaheim Garden Walk on Friday, June 17th, 4 to 9 p.m., and Saturday, June 18th, from 12 to 9 p.m. Explore over 100 authentic Japanese street food and ramen vendors, a VIP beer and sake garden, live music, Japanese pop culture, martial arts, and more. All ages. This is an all-age event, free of admission, and will offer artisan crafts for purchase. The romantic event of the week. We need some romantic music, Josh. Magic at the Majestic. Named LA's best magical date night by LA Weekly, Magic at the Anaheim Majestic Garden Hotel is a breathtaking show where you're welcomed into a unique world of infinite possibilities. The show features original magic delicately entwined in a meaningful narrative as only David the Magician can create. Watch as solid objects melt through one another, witness time travel, experience mind reading, and be inspired by the personal stories that weave it all together. Purchase tickets at davidminkin.com. davidminkin.com. Use offer code MAGIC214 for a 10% discount. David, MINKIN.com. Magic 214 for a 10% discount. And the family event of the week. Celebrate National Mosquito Control Awareness Week with your kids at the Discovery Cube, Orange County on June 18th. Enjoy a special children's book reading by Grandmother Mosquito. Meet the author and illustrator. Participate in mosquito crafts. Join a Q&A with a mosquito expert and enter the book giveaway. You can purchase tickets at discoverycube.org. Discoverycube.org. That's on the town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. Go ahead and visit. I'm sure all these things are on their website too at visitanaheim.org. Great stuff there. Continue our conversation. Bill Murphy is with us, chatting about police officers, our affection for law enforcement. I speak for myself and many others that we really do appreciate what the men and women in the first responders, police officers, and sheriffs do for us every single day. Before we went to the break, though, I made a comment, and I don't know whether it's still true or if it's not true. Maybe it depends on the area. But I made a comment, Bill, that a lot of law enforcement never, ever discharged their weapon in the line of duty. Is that still the case?
In 1980, when I was in the police academy, the instructors came in and said, one of you, there were 40 of us, one of you will be involved in a shooting in your career.
One.
Now, what happens when I was teaching the academy up toward the end of my police days is that I would tell them that one of you in here won't be involved in a shooting.
Wow.
That's how much it's reversed, and that how many more shootings occur. And a lot of times they're more complicated. I've been involved in several, and the very first shooting I had was on duty. And, I had to shoot a guy. He drew a pistol against me, and I beat him to the draw, and I put 2 into his chest, and then he passed. And so what ends up happening is that now we like to do simulation training. That's where you go through the whole incident. You have a real gun. It just has a special barrel and it fires marking cartridges. So now before a policeman hits the street, we're going to give him 20 scenarios to where he had to take this incident from the beginning all the way through force if necessary, through pepper spray, through deadly force, and control the suspect right into there. So we do that with our CCW students, is that we put them in scenarios, and now they have to make decisions. And in the advanced CCW classes, they use a real firearm in a real situation, and then nobody's hurt by the projectiles that come out. And so
that's pretty intense training, but it's something that I think should be required.
Well, people, it's like the old guy that I get, he's 71 years old. Hey, you'd never owned a firearm in your life, probably a Democrat. And what happens is I tell them, go home and work on your mantra, build a safe room, and get yourself a can of pepper spray, because you're getting to be too old to be athletic enough and be able to go ahead and make the decisions fast enough and commit yourself to the accuracy that's needed. But what ends up happening is that a lot of people are realizing they have no choice now because of how violent the streets of LA are. We're lucky in Orange County, we got Todd Spitzer as our DA, and we got a lot of cops that work real hard, and that keeps the crime rate down. But once you lose that, and that's what LA's done, is they've lost the DA's office. And so now what happens is the nuts are running the asylum. The criminals aren't going to jail for what they do. And so they're not afraid to keep raising the bar and being worse and worse.
Let's talk a little bit about protecting ourselves. So you've got I'm looking at a couple of sheets here, all kinds of courses of training that you and your team all do. Tell us a little bit about some of these courses. I see a women's self-defense course, obviously needed. I had a police officer once tell me that the best weapon I could get is a shotgun, just because you don't have to be as accurate, and just by the mere, cocking it, the sound is going to scare most people off.
Well, I'll address that. Is that shotgun is the best tool in the world to use for self-defense in close quarters, 25 yards or less. And I have used it. The last person I had to shoot, I shot with a 12 gauge shotgun with a Magnum slug. inside. When I was outside, it was about 30 yard shot. And so it's one of those things, it's the best, but where do you keep it? You know, at home, if you leave it out in a closet or something, the burglar is going to find it. If you put it into your safe, it might be too slow to get out in an emergency and things like that. In our police cars, we either carry them up front or in the trunk. And the coroner commented after my shooting with the shotgun is the unbelievable stopping power of the 1 ounce Magnum slug. And he said that twice during the inquest. And I always told people is when you can impress a coroner, you have accomplished something.
Wow.
Because they see it all. And
I'm sure.
So the idea is that women's classes, women have a beautiful word, is called empowerment. And us guys, we should have taken it. We were bigger and stronger. But what happens is the women, that whenever they do something in the way of self-defense, everybody's proud of them and happy that they did this. But guys, it always has to be learned with temperance. Is that when I would do after action on officer involved shootings, I'd go in and I'd be an advocate for the shooter. And what happened is women were always smiling and happy and saying, oh man, I didn't know I'd be able to do this and all that kind of stuff. And then what happens is when the guys would go in there, they'd be very excited and say, hey, you know, like my mom told me, this is somebody's kid and you just killed somebody's kid. And you make sure that you don't mistakenly say something that could be deemed as inappropriate, especially when you're talking to a psychiatrist or something else along those lines. Because we always do seek psychiatric help for all of our people that have to use significant force. And then
that's an interesting comment right there, because no one thinks about that part of it. I got a big, brave police officer, and yes, they are big and they're brave, but they're also humans, right? And going and going for that psychiatric help, they have to live their life knowing that they took another life.
Well, the whole thing is you better make friends with that concept the day you start carrying a gun, because it can happen at any time. And if you hesitate, that could be the cost of your life. And I knew of a sergeant from an agency in Orange County that he had to shoot a guy on 3 or 4 nights before. And then he took his 3 days off, came back and had to shoot another guy. But this time he said to himself, I'm going to force this guy to cut me before I shoot him, because the interrogation, the intenseness of what you face when you shoot someone by our own ethics. And what happens is he was damaged. And so he came back to work 3 days later, had to shoot a guy. And what happened is the guy's coming at him with a knife. And he just said, I got to get cut. Well, you can't afford to get cut in the throat. And what happens, you die.
Sure.
And so what ends up happening, his partner stepped up and shot him from another angle and put the guy down. But everybody carries a little bit of baggage with them from everything that they ever have to do. And so we know that as cops, and we know it's important to deal with that baggage in a timely manner.
Wow, a lot of education for us. Tell me, we got about a minute left, Bill. I want to hear. So we got a women's self-defense course that you train, basic recreational handgun course.
We teach every course that's conceivable with a firearm, and so we take you from day one to. I've been fortunate. I train commandos, Navy SEALs, Army Special Forces, Marine MARSOC, going back to Det 1. And so we've done training for counter-terrorist teams around the world. So we do it at the highest level that it can be done. There's a lot of guys out there that talk this stuff and they'll say this, but they don't have the proof. They didn't get paid by these guys for doing it. I've worked for the CIA. I've taught at the Secret Service Academy. And so we're going to gear any class to the students that we have and what they want to learn, but we're going to take it to a higher level of performance, and they're going to keep raising the bar on themselves. So a lot of our students come back and take 20, 30, 40 classes over a couple of years because they want to learn. And all the classes like the basic, the concealed weapons course, the women's self-defense, and the shotgun, is that we have our flyers in at the Turner stores all through Orange and LA County, Riverside County. We have Fowler's Gun Room that carries all of our flyers, and they've all been through our training and they know how good it is. And so if you want to do something with us, go to FTA TV. So it's Frank, Tom, Adam, Tom, Victor. And so that.com. And so that's where you can get a hold of us, see our stuff, and just Firearms Training Associates, television, TV, and then be able to go ahead and contact us and do everything.
And I can tell you firsthand, because I went through some of their training. It's not a weekend joy trip, right? You're going to learn very serious information on how to do very serious things. And highly, highly recommended. It was a very enlightening course when I went through there, and it's been a while, but
I'm very funny.
great information. As always, we ask you set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today, and of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.